Stalker 2 patch 1.5 is the game worth playing right now. Basically, my point still stands from the previous patches. The TLDR is, if you are new to Stalker, like you never played Stalker 2 before, or you played Stalker 2 but you never finished it because it was buggy or it was bad and all that, then yes, I would recommend the game as a single-player action story game, right? As the game is. So if you want to just play the game once, finish it, like maybe like follow the story, do a little bit of like side quests on the side, maybe like do a little bit of exploration, but mostly just follow the quests, the main quest, and like, you know, have like your first playthrough and be done with the game, then yeah, I would definitely recommend experiencing the game for the first time, because it is in a playable state. It is in a great state, to be honest, and it is playable for your first time experience. It's great. I would really recommend it, right? Now, if you maybe like want to do it for like a second playthrough, a third playthrough, for me, for example, I want to treat the game more of like a sandbox and like just go explore, roam around, do some missions and do some repeatable missions and all that. So if you want more out of the game, right now is not really the best time. Like, it's just starting to get better, so maybe by the next patch I would recommend it for that purpose, okay? So this is pretty much it for the TLDR of the patch. As you can see, they did post the kind of like a trailer for the patch, so we're gonna take a look at that really quickly. As you can see here, patch 1.5, which is pretty cool. So pretty much what happened in this patch, they added a pistol, which is a Cora pistol. It's kind of like a 1911 pistol, which is pretty cool, with like a really cool customization and all that. So it looks pretty slick, very nice, right? That's really nice, yeah. They also added the Mosin, which they called the 3-line rifle. Really cool gun as well, with a lot of modifications and very, very sexy animations for sure. So that's pretty cool. Mutant part looting. Finally, they added the mutant loot, which is pretty good. Now, not all mutants will be able to loot. Like, it's kind of like RNG, so maybe sometimes the mutant will be lootable, sometimes it's not going to be lootable, right? So maybe you kill a bloodsucker, you get like a tentacle out of it. Sometimes you don't. Maybe a blind dog, you get like his nose, right? Which is kind of funny. So like, it really depends on your RNG, right? Which is pretty cool as well. And what they also added is a hunter in Rostock. So if you go to Rostock, previous patches, you find this stand of hunting, which is empty. It was kind of cut from the game. Now they added back the hunter with like hunting quests, and it's a trader as well. You can basically sell all the mutant parts to him for more money, as you can see right here, which is pretty cool. And he also gives you like some quests to like go hunt stuff and all that. And not only the hunter on Rostock, there's also the Malachite trader, right? She also gives you some hunting quests to do, basically to go like bring her some mutant parts as well, which is pretty cool too. And it's a really great way to make money as well. So that is really cool. Really happy to find that they actually added the mutant loot, which is kind of gives like an incentive to actually kill mutants, which is pretty good, even though you don't always get loot from them. But just the fact that there is a chance of getting loot, it's way more satisfying, right? Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So yeah, they added the hunter, the mutant loot. They kind of add like some models for like the new cars and all that, and a big feature, which is the continuous reloads, right? As you can see here, this is huge, by the way. Like, everyone was like kind of like waiting for this, and they finally did it. As you can see, he reloads the AK, he takes off the mag, he's hurt, he hides it, he heals himself. When he brings back the AK, as you can see, the magazine is already taken out. So the animation didn't reset. Before, you had to redo all the animations, but now it saves the state of the animation. So when you do rebring your gun, you can just pick up the animation right where you left off. In this case, you remove the mag, he brings out the gun, he only has to add the mag back in. He doesn't need to repeat the whole animation, as you can see right here, which is pretty cool, right? And it's for all the guns as well. As you can see, the pistol, he puts the magazine, he doesn't glock the gun, he cannot throw the grenade, he brings back the pistol, and he only has to clock the gun, as you can see, right? Which is very, very cool. Finally, they kind of added that. I'm really happy about it, right? So that's pretty cool. Now we have the rework of the player stash UI as well. The player stash used to be like a little box here, if you remember, if you played the game. Now it's fully expanded like this, which is way better, and it's a really, really good quality of life. And they also had like the take all and drop all buttons also fixed, which is kind of cool. And they also added like a fix all button for like the mechanics and all that, so that's also pretty decent, which I'm happy about. Now let's talk about the A-Life update. Again, as I said in the beginning, they did implement the first iteration of the A-Life back into the game, but they added it pretty much properly, right? So it is fully functional, it is here, and like there's like online and offline, and it works properly, and you actually find like named stalkers, and they are persistent, so you can, for example, find someone in like I don't know, in a Rostock, and then you go back to Rostock, you find the same guy with the same name, which is really cool, right? So it really adds to the immersion, and it is fully functional. However, again, it's not complete yet, so we'll have to see a little bit, maybe like for the next patches or hot fixes, probably next patches, to be fully functional, hopefully by the next patch, right? So A-Life update, really cool. Like you can find like stalkers hanging around. Enemy AI actually moves around the map now, like properly, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. They did a rework of the Ukrainian lip syncing, which is pretty cool, right? And they did also add a water electro tornado. Sorry for the flashbang, but yeah, as you can see, looks very cool. And finally, we have the modding support, the Zone Kit Phase 1, which you can get in the Epic Games Store. You can download it, it's 700 gigabytes or something. So pretty much you better have an extra SSD for that, right? But yeah, I mean, we have the SDK finally available, which gonna push the modding community to create a lot of cool mods for Stalker. And the cool thing about this with this SDK is that, as you can see right here, you can save and all that, and there's a modding guide as well. But the cool thing is that you can directly access it from the game's menu, which is kind of crazy. So you can just directly install mods from the menu, as you can see right here, most popular, most rated, recently used, etc. So straight from the Steam Workshop, as long as you're in Steam, you can just exit through the game menu and add mods through there. No, like, you just have to subscribe to them, and that's it. Like no installation, complicated installs and all that, nothing like that. Just click a button, you install the mod, and you got it, right? With like a perfect load order and everything. So it's pretty cool, right? So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it, what they showed in the trailer. As you can see, they call it the guns and looting update, which is kind of cool, right? Pretty much a really, really huge update, which is kind of nice. I'm gonna give them a like. And we're gonna take a look at the Steam thing just really quick to go a little bit more into detail into what actually changed, some other things as well. As you can see, the A-Life changes. Life in the zone now simulates all characters, not just those in the player's view. So pretty much like now what the A-Life will spawn NPCs way farther away from the player, so it's not just like near like your peripheral view anymore. So it's not like some pop-in, just to reduce like the pop-in of like the NPCs and all that. So it's way farther from the player now, so you will not notice any pop-in in terms of like NPCs and all that. So which is pretty kind of cool, right? The characters continue to live their lives and pursue, so the characters pretty much, they are persistent in the zone, and you will find the same NPCs with the same names, which is kind of cool. And once they go out of your range, they are online NPCs. They transition from online to offline, so they kind of disappear and then they reappear as offline characters, and then they just continue living their life outside of your bubble, right? and they're just living in the world, and until they either die, or you can pretty much go back to them and they will go back online and you can see them again, right? So that is really, really good. And I mean, it's functional, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty nice. Hopefully they kind of like complete the whole AI thing by the next patch, hopefully, which is, it's gonna bring up a lot of players, because a lot of players are waiting for they're waiting for like the AI to be fully implemented, right? Like me, for example. So yeah, that's really, really cool. Players making a more resting or interacting in various locations added to the world's immersion, which is kind of cool. Characters will no longer respawn directly in front of the player when the player clears the mutant lair. For example, those mutant won't simply reappear moments later, so there is a significant cooldown at which the NPCs will respawn, which is kind of cool. Again, it directly influences like and to reduce the pop-in, again, as we said earlier. So you need to go way farther away from that area for it to be kind of like repopulated, or basically the A-Life director will spawn these NPCs way farther from you and make them pathway to that location, if that makes sense, right? Which is kind of cool, right? Again, same thing. They don't respawn at the edge of the visualization, which is kind of cool. So they respawn way far from the player, as we said. Visualization range is slightly increased. Character now appear in visualization range with relevant animations and equipped weapons, which is kind of cool, because like sometimes further NPCs will not have like their weapons drawn out properly, or their textures not drawn out properly and all that, which is kind of cool. So again, to reduce the pop-in of characters, which is pretty cool. However, the pop-in of the foliage is still there. Okay, sadly, they still didn't fix that, but it's fine. Okay, it still happens when you like zoom in with a weapon, like the foliage changes to another LOD, which is kind of bad. But I mean, hopefully they fix that by the next patch. But I mean, I'm still coping. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they do, right? Which is kind of cool. Again, electric tornado anomaly, pretty cool. The Mosin, the Cora, which is cool. The new feature looting of mutant parts, as we said earlier, which is kind of awesome as well, with like animations and all that, as you can see right here. Very cool. Displaying available artifact slots for armor in the upgrade tab, which is kind of cool as well, because you had to like go back and in and out, and you didn't see like how many like artifact slots are on the armors if you were upgrading them, which is kind of, it was kind of bad a little bit. The player stash window is increased, as we said earlier. The take all button becomes like inactive, like that kind of weird annoying bug. Now it's fixed. There's a fix all button in the mechanics, so they can like repair your stuff, well, the technicians. Reload renewal, as we said earlier as well, which is kind of cool as well. And the zone kit, a kind of like disclaimer here that, you know, if the game updates, you should probably not use mods, and check out if your mods are up to date or not, and if they work with the new patch or not. So keep that in mind as well, right? So yeah, very cool. They fixed a lot of like AI and combat stuff, like Snork not being able to like jump from specific locations, which is kind of stupid. The rodents like sounds, which was pretty. I'm happy they fixed this, by the way. Like when you kill the Toscanos, they pretty much like, they still make noise constantly, even though they're dead, but they make the noise as if they are alive. Not the Toscanos, the rats. They just keep making that noise, and if you're stuck in like an underground locations or something, like Agroprom, like where they cannot rush you, it was so annoying, and I'm glad they fixed it, which is kind of cool. Huge one too, they added a ballistic fall off to the NPC firing range as well for the ammo, so they don't snipe you anymore from far away, which is kind of good. So hopefully it's fully fixed now, right? Which is kind of cool. But yeah, mutants attacking behavior when the player is standing still. Chimera jump, kind of hitting you before he jumps, which was kind of a bug. I had that on the Chimera by the helicopter of Pripyat. I remember that. Like he hit me and then he jumped at me without dealing damage. I was like, what happened? So yeah, that happened as well. Bureau can be killed like if you're too close to the Bureau. There was like a kind of a bug. Like it was an easy way to kill the Bureaus. You just go straight into them and you close up the distance, and you just shoot them through their shield to instantly kill them, which was kind of like a bug as well. So now it's fixed. Fix the NPCs taking cover when fighting with each other. So they were kind of like taking irrelevant cover when they were fighting each other, which was kind of like dumb a little bit. But now they actually go and they kind of take like actual cover now, which is pretty good, hopefully, right? Fix the issue where NPCs could walk in place in peaceful hubs. There was like a bug that kind of like walk in their place, which was kind of like immersion breaking a little bit, sadly. For the balance stuff, they kind of balanced a lot of like ammo, the ammunition for like the machine guns and the sniper rifle and all that. They reworked also like the ammo locations across the map as well to make a little bit more sense where you find ammo and which type of ammo you find as well. They kind of reworked a little bit of like the artifacts as well, and they kind of changed like their effects and all that, which is kind of cool as well. And they reworked like some damage stuff for like some weapons. They buffed some weapons, they debuffed some weapons, so hopefully that's kind of cool as well. And we have bug fixes, crashes, and performance. A lot of crashes, a lot of optimization here as well. Nothing too crazy in terms of like performance in general, right? But they did fix a lot of crashes and issues as well. The biggest one is this one, which is the generator lag. Like when you go to the generators, there was a part of the generator where your FPS just tanks to like 10 FPS or 20 FPS, which was kind of annoying. I had it twice and it was pretty bad, right? And then we have some main quests, side quests, open world encounters and all that. So, I mean, these are pretty much spoilers. I'm not gonna go into them, obviously. And we also have the modding support again. We have mod IO for like the console players, which is kind of cool as well. And we have other updates like NPCs like smoking animations, I think. That's it, right? Yeah. Smoking animations, as you can see right here. Some pathing for NPCs as well, which is kind of cool. Possibility to speed up credits, improve distant and indoors gunshots sound, so we have a better audio for like gunshots. Variety from like inside areas to like outside areas, which is kind of cool as well. Improve the HUD appearance for changing ammo functionality. Now the ammo actually has some HUD indication. So for example, the AP ammo is like a green thing, like a green armor piercing thing, and you have like the HP ammo and you have like the normal ammo, which is like kind of like grayish. So like they added like some icons for like the ammo, the ammunition, which is kind of cool. So I'm really happy with that. So it's a little bit easier to distinguish the types of ammo that you're using, which is pretty cool, right? Some inventory sorting and scrolling on loot windows. It's been a little bit polished right there, which is kind of cool. Weapon attachment descriptions, sound volume for medkit usage, some support for like different resolutions, aspect ratios. They added like an auto detect feature for like the setting to automatically detect what are the best settings for your system. So hopefully that's accurate, because like most games that add the auto detect, most of the time it's not accurate, right? So hopefully it is kind of accurate a little bit. And the Ukrainian lip syncing, as we said before. So this is pretty much it. And again, obviously the modding support as well, which is the SDK. Really cool thing as well. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Nothing like too crazy in terms of other things, but the main highlights are pretty good. I mean, the modding kit is really cool. New weapons, A-Life iteration, mutant loot, which is crucial. So all these things really good. They are planning to add more stuff coming up, and they are planning to announce the Q3 of the roadmap for the year, which is kind of exciting. I'm probably gonna cover that as well. hopefully we're gonna see the increase of like the flashlight distance, adding NVGs, completely adding the A life as well, and completing it like for good. So hopefully that's also there as well. And I mean a lot of other things too, and most of like the main quest stuff, and making the game a little bit more like sandboxy instead, and actually open world instead of like being like streamlined. Hopefully that happens too, but a little bit maybe later on. But other than that, I'm really excited to see like what kind of mods we're gonna have for the workshop, right? So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what mods are gonna be added, right? So hopefully modders can carry out the game a little bit, right? As usual. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty exciting. Again, I'm gonna cover the roadmap when it comes out. I'm probably gonna do a little bit more videos on Dispatch as well. Maybe I'm gonna add like some comparison stuff. Maybe I'm gonna do like some clips or something. Not really sure, but we're gonna see. Other than that, hopefully this was informative. As usual, I cover Stalker patches as they come out. And yeah, if this was helpful, as usual, you know the drill. Subscribe, like the video, it will very be helpful to the channel. We're almost at 500 subscribers, by the way, which is a huge, very huge. I really appreciate that, and thank you so much for the support if you've been here since the start, which is kind of cool. All right, so yeah, if you want to check out more videos, you can click on the screen on whichever one you want. And yeah, this is pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and as usual, the classic: good hunting, stalkers.